Welcome to CosmoFactory, a podcast by Cosmoprof Worldwide Bologna, where we explore the entire cosmetics, personal care, and fragrance industry supply chain. I'm your host, Deanna Utrusky, and here at CosmoFactory, we look beyond the trends to discover the ideas, initiatives, and innovations that are truly advancing beauty. Let's get started. This episode is about local wisdom, regional trends, and international brands. It's about sourcing raw materials from botanical gardens and global producers. It's about leading a horizontally integrated company that spans ingredients, manufacturing, consumer brands, retail, professional beauty services and education, consumer media, and more. Dr. Kilala Tilaar, owner and CEO of the Martha Tilaar Group, is my guest today on the CosmoFactory podcast. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good afternoon from Jakarta.
Yes, I'm so glad you can join us for this.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're welcome. Uh, Before I ask about the company that you lead, I want to remind listeners, as you've just suggested, that the Martha Tilaar Group is based in Indonesia. And it's a
Yes.
country that comprises quite literally thousands of islands. It's also the fourth most populated country in the world, so only after China, India, and the US. Indonesia is also home, as I understand it, to over 1,300 different ethnic populations, and most of those are indigenous peoples. I also think it's important to know that the country has one of the world's highest levels of biodiversity. So to start off with, I would love for you to tell us how important the natural resources, as well as the wisdom traditions of Indonesia are to your company's founder.
Yes, natural resources and tradition is the most important elements of our company's focus, and our it's very dearly to our founder, because when she started the business back in 1970s, our founder found that the all the beauty standards of the world, everything came from the West, and in Indonesia there's no specific beauty standards. And in Indonesia at that time, we didn't have any local brands.
Mhm.
And she realized that not everything, like imported products from the West is suitable for the Indonesian skin conditions, because of the climate is totally different, because we are in the tropical climates.
Yes.
So then she began searching of what kind of ingredients or formula that is best suited with the condition in Indonesia. Now, being said that, Indonesia is a fast country, as you mentioned before, that we have abundant of natural resources, ingredients. We are the second largest tropical forest in the world,
Mhm.
and we consist about 17,000 islands, and we have a lot of abundance indigenous science to be explored from 300 cultural tribes there is in Indonesia. So cultural and natural resources has been our differentiations to compete in this Indonesian market, and has been the heart and soul of innovation in the company since 1970. So it's very important to our company.
Yeah, wonderful. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing. I'd like to think a bit about the contemporary economy of Indonesia as well. What do you think we should know about the market conditions and regional trends, particularly as they relate to the cosmetics industry?
Well, Diana, Indonesia has been one of the fastest growing economy in Asia over the last 10 years. With this prolonged economic growth, we've seen a lot of significant growth, by 20% increase in the middle income segment out of population of 280 million people.
Wow.
And the direct impact of this rising middle income segment is that more people have more disposable income to invest in personal grooming.
Mhm.
And as a result of that, the demand for beauty and personal care in Indonesia has increased significantly. Uh, the size of the industry itself is only 1.9 billion US dollar, but we are enjoying, a steady 5.3% growth rate during COVID and after COVID. So
Mhm.
it's very what do you call it? It's very good market, yeah, nowadays,
Yeah.
in especially in the world, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Indonesia domestic market is now is became very highly competitive. Uh, as you can see, the growth of the industry, significantly what do you call it, boost up
hmm,
the interest, yeah, in the interest of many people to come into the industry. So it can be categorized as a red ocean industry now because
mhm.
of the intense rivalry.
Yeah,
Open accessibility and low entry barriers has led, to a surge of new entrants. This is a data fun facts, yeah. In
yes,
1970, there are only 50 players in the industry.
okay,
In 2019, there are around 700 players.
hmm,
And this is very fun, In 2024, and this is official government data,
yeah,
suggested that the number surged to 1,040 players in
wow.
Q1 and Q2. And in Q3, it became 1,700 players. So everybody want to, get into this market, because it's
Yeah,
very sexy, yeah, very sexy
yeah,
market,
that's a lot of, it's a remarkable increase. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things I want to talk with you about is the botanical gardens that the Martha Tilaar Group owns. I understand that you use this gardens as a sort of school for farmers. I'm hoping you can describe the gardens to us. I'm wondering how large it is, what we would see if we got to visit, but also what the farmers are learning there.
Yep. We have 12 acres of land in the Sukabumi Mountain region in
Okay.
west of Java, in Java Island. And it contains collections of around 700 species out of 33,000 species listed in Indonesian's government.
Yes.
So we are catching up, yeah, catching up. There's still 700, but we still have more to go, yeah. And the primary purpose of this facility is to serve as laboratory for research of the Indonesian plants,
Mhm.
including, the aromatic and medicinal plant species. And secondly, the purpose is providing raw materials for productions and, as you mentioned earlier, training and certifications for our networks of farmers. Now we have 400 networks of farmers, around 1,600 farmers
Mhm.
collaborating with us. And as I mentioned earlier, we use the garden to train our farmers in organic certifications such as Cosmos, EcoCert, SMETA, and EcoVadis. And we offer this training as a part of our collaborative efforts, social responsibility at no charge to the farmers. And it's a win-win collaborations that benefit for both the company and the farmers. And in 2015, our effort were recognized by the UN Global Compact for our commitment to sustainable business practices that elevate the welfare of Indonesian farmers. So this is really not only a garden, not only for supply, but also have a positive impact for the farming community in Indonesia.
Yes, yes, no, it sounds like important work for sure. You mentioned some of the Indonesian ingredients that we might find there in general terms, but I'm wondering if you can speak more specifically about ingredients that your owned brands use or that are sold for export that are particular to Indonesia.
Yeah, there are so many ingredients that we are working on it. Yeah. And the research began in 1999 when we have been actively searching for bioactive compounds or other materials derived from local exotic ingredients. And we are conducted extensive explorations in Indonesia rainforests and discovered many plants suitable for the use in beauty and personal care industry. For example, I give you three examples that is very
Yes.
I really like it. Yeah. Number one is the Tengkawang butter is a very exotic butter. It's the replacement for cocoa butter and shea butter. And it's locally made, locally grown in Indonesia in West Borneo, and have a unique characteristics of, in terms of the melting points of the butters. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
slightly higher than the cocoa butters, but also slightly lower than the shea butter. So it give us, softer textures and absorbment. It's easily to absorb in the skin.
Hmm.
Uh, I like this ingredients because it's very exotic. Yeah, it's alternative of the well-known cocoa and shea butter, and
Yes.
there's a philosophy behind that. The source of this materials in the depth of the West Borneo Island, and it's the cultural belief in that island. It's that you cannot take it what do you call it, you have to wait until the nuts leave the tree. So you
Yes.
cannot just take it out of the tree, but you have to let it the nut what do you call it,
It would fall to the ground.
just fall to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way they cultivate this the nuts is only done by women only, so
Hmm.
there's no men's involved in this kind of cultivation. So it's very beautiful story, I think. Yeah, there's a local wisdom behind this exotic butter.
Yes.
And number two is, I think, is the in Europe, grapes are abundantly grown in Europe, but in Indonesia we have this one particular region that can grow winery and grapes.
Uh-huh.
And it's very hot in Indonesia. It's not like in European countries there is four seasons. There's only
Hmm.
one season that is very hot, and this particular yeah, it's
I've
summer all
never
the
lived
time.
somewhere where there's only one season.
And it's always summer. So
Hmm.
summer all the time. Yeah. So this particular grapes grown in Bali. You heard about the
Sure.
Balinese island, Bali Island, yeah. And the seed contains a very potent OPC and a powerful antioxidant. It's based on our research, it's 20 times greater than vitamin E and 50 times greater than vitamin C. And we get a patent out of this grape seed compound. Yeah.
Yes.
And so many more. I can give you more,
Yeah.
one more time, one more species. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a local delima fruits. It's probably is only in ASEAN countries,
Hmm.
and it contains high anthocyanins and antioxidants, and also have zinc and many many more. So we can use it for formulations in skincare, and also the hair care is very good. So yes, we've been working a lot to research a lot of species in our country, and we get for this effort 38 patent of bioactive that we are using it in our products, and we are exported into 12 to 50 countries across Europe, US, Asia, and Latin America.
Yeah. Yeah. That's impressive. Thank you so much. And while we're thinking about Indonesian ingredients, and we've mentioned biodiversity here in our conversation as well, I do want to ask about your company's policy and practices for sourcing palm oil. Can you tell us about your approach for sourcing this ingredient or using palm oil derivatives?
Yeah, palm oil is, I think, it's the main ingredients for formulations in cosmetic and personal care,
Yeah.
as you know. But in Martha Tilaar, we strongly believe that it has to be sustainable. Yeah, it has to be from sustainable resource.
Mhm.
So we select palm oil suppliers that have RSPO, mass balance certifications, so that all the palm oil we use follows the certifications of standard for sustainability.
Okay. Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
Um,
in terms of palm oil, Indonesia is the number one producer for palm oil, unfortunately.
I know
Yeah.
it goes both ways for sure.
Hmm.
Um, so I know, like many ingredient suppliers, you have some research partnerships with universities as well as your own innovation center. Can you help us think a little bit more about the research projects that your company is at work on?
Well, yeah, our research projects has been handled by an entity called the Martha Tilaar Innovation Center,
Mhm.
and Martha Tilaar Innovation Center believe that in order to drive innovation faster, we cannot do it alone. So we need a lot of collaboration with multiple stakeholders, including the government research centers and universities. Currently, we work with 26 universities, both local and international. And what kind of activities that we are working on together is activities such as bio explorations, efficacy testing,
Mhm.
project scaling up, and in vitro plant seeding and
Mhm.
domestications of rare plants for industrial
Oh,
use. So, for example, we collaborated with Leiden University for almost 10 years now on ethnobotany and medical anthropology. And by doing this collaboration, we found around 5 endangered species that we are successfully bring it to we are successfully developing this species to become not rare anymore,
yes,
not
yes.
endangered anymore by using in vitro technologies and domestication. So we are quite happy to not only to take something from the land, but we also giving back to the nature.
Yeah, no, very cool. Thank you for that. And as I mentioned in the intro, your company has some manufacturing facilities and manufacturers, if I'm correct, you manufacture not only for your own brands, but also for brands that are owned by other companies. Can you share with us a bit about the manufacturing services you provide for other brands?
Yes, we are vertically integrated beauty business. So from raw materials to manufacturing our own brand, but also we have the OEM ODM company.
Yeah.
We have a company called Sedefindo, which established in 1980s as a joint venture with Lancome Paris,
Okay.
but not since 1999 is 100% owned by our group. And today, Sedefindo is one of the largest OEM ODM company in Indonesia. We cater around 650 brands, including multinationals like Unilever, PZ Cousins, New Skin, Disney, and many more,
Mhm.
as well as national and indie brands.
Sure.
And we offer services across all categories in the beauty personal care product portfolio. But in particular, we are very strong in natural decorative makeup, natural skincare, and natural baby products.
Very good. Thank you for that. That was helpful. Um, I know that many decades ago, or at least several decades ago, I should say, that
Mhm.
Martha Tilaar herself opened a beauty salon, and that today your company has what could be described as a strong business operating salons, spas, and even a beauty academy. Um, Before I ask you about your company's professional business, I'll just mention in an earlier episode of the CosmoFactory podcast, it was episode number 26. We heard about L'Oreal's go-to-market strategy for professional beauty in the sub-Sahara Africa region in particular. And I think there might be some similarities with how you're approaching the Indonesian market, if anyone listening wants to go hear that episode after they finish this one. But what do you think we should know about your company's professional beauty business?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, our company is a vertically integrated beauty business, and we
Yeah.
focus not only developing, beauty products, but also building a comprehensive beauty business ecosystem. That's including, supply chain from end to end, including ingredients, branding, manufacturing, OEM, retail, beauty schools, and spa. And right now, we operate 65 spas across Indonesia and
Okay.
ASEAN. And yeah, and it's the spa business. We are one of the pioneer of the Indonesian philosophy of spa.
Mhm.
Back then, it's only the Swedish spa, but in the 80s, in the
Sure.
90s, sorry, our founder, Dr. Martha Tilaar, pioneered, local Indonesian, what do you call it, methods
Hmm.
of spa philosophy, and now becoming one of the biggest, I think, biggest spa operators in the world with 65 spas.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's impressive. Thank you. And we've mentioned retail as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the retail side of your business?
Yeah, we are 54 years in the industry, and then
Hmm.
I think we've been building a strong distribution infrastructure for our business,
Yeah.
and our brand has been distributed in 100,000 retail outlets nationwide. And in terms of channel, we have presence in modern trade, general trades, and online channels.
Mhm.
And we sell our product in our own retail stores located in all the shopping malls across Indonesia. And we also distribute our products in 65 spas in Indonesia and ASEAN.
Sure, perfect. Thank you for that overview. And we've skipped over it entirely, but will you remind us of the portfolio of brands at your company? How many are there? What categories are you specialized in?
Yeah, we have around 12 brands
Mhm.
serving multiple segments from the lower end to the high end. And the categories is pretty much everything, hair care, body care, skin care, makeup, baby products, and spa services and spa products.
Yeah, very good. If you were to give us an example of one of your brands that might stand out in the Indonesian marketplace, what should we be looking at?
You should look at the Sari Ayu Martha Tilaar brand. This brand is our bread and butter. Sari Ayu is a beauty brand that has been in the market for more than 45 years, serving the mass market and offering multiple beauty categories. And it was a pioneer uh, among the first local beauty brands in Indonesia and bringing local wisdom, natural products, and cultural heritage with a scientific approach to its customers. This is a legendary brand that served four generations, the boomers, the X, the Z, sorry, and then the Gen Alpha right now.
Yes.
So,
No, that's very cool. Thank you for that. And you mentioned exporting the brands as well throughout Asia, but can you share a bit more about that part of your business?
yeah, our brands, three of our brands has been exported to mainly ASEAN countries
Hmm.
like Brunei, Malaysia, Thailand, the Philippines, etc.
Hmm.
And you might ask why ASEAN countries? Because we have similarities in terms of climates, skin conditions, and customer preferences. So that's why it's more easier to penetrate the ASEAN market first. But in terms of ingredients, we've been exported into 50 countries
Hmm.
worldwide.
No, that makes sense, doesn't it? Once you formulate for a particular market, there is a sensibility, but the ingredients have a much wider reach.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And
so
more cheaper.
interesting.
Because to
Yes.
penetrate the market, you need to invest a lot of advertising and promotions.
Hmm.
But for the ingredient itself, it's only, if your ingredients is very good, then it will sell itself.
Exactly. Exactly. Well
Yeah.
said. Yeah. Before we end our conversation, I'd like to ask about how your company is impacting, influencing, and integrating more broadly with the global beauty economy. Help us think about the role that this expansive, I should say, horizontally integrated company plays in the industry at large.
Wow, such a very important questions. All right, I'll try to answer it.
Thank you.
Yeah, uh, we are active in pursuing the realizations of the sustainable development goals of the United Nations. And Martha Tilaar Group, we are also the founding members of United Nations Global Compact movement. It's a movement started, among others, is Dr. Martha Tilaar, is try to make the private sectors be involved in the realizations of the SGDs.
Hmm.
So it was conceived by Kofi Annan and among others is Dr. Martha Tilaar in 2000s uh, to to make to encourage private sector to do something about the poverty, about sustainability, etc. And yeah, we've been using also sustainable processes and ingredients. We aim to ensure that we contribute, to the saving our planet through our business supply chain. Yeah. And we done a lot of initiative, including effort to mitigate the effect of global warming and reduce environment destructions, such as we undertake an extensive 100,000 acres of reforestation efforts in the islands of Kalimantan and Sumatra. We've been working a lot for 20 years with WWF to preserve the Indonesian wildlife and coral, what do you call it?
Sure, the coral reefs.
Yeah, coral reef reconstructions.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and together with government, we've been able to save, several nearly extinct plants and help them to thrive. And we are committed to empowerment, focusing for both women
Mhm.
empowerment and also farmer empowerment.
Mhm. Mhm. Excellent. No, I appreciate hearing that. Thank you. I know. Yeah, it's
Thank,
maybe hard to summarize how a company like yours is doing such important global work, but so many of the multinationals are making an effort. I appreciate your putting that together in a summary for us. But I have to thank you, Kilala, for a very interesting interview today. I'm so glad you could join me here on the Cosmo Factory podcast. Thank you.
thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for listening. If you find the Cosmo Factory podcast useful, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review and share your thoughts so even more cosmetic industry professionals can discover the Cosmo Factory. I'm Deanna Utrusky. Please join me again next Tuesday for a new episode of the Cosmo Factory podcast.